O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Welcome back to more Spirit of Justice. Okay, let's see what we get this time. Well, that's not a good sign for them, is it? What in the faceless being? What the heck? His face is just like that picture of the founder. I think that's the last thing anyone expected to see. Father, what was it? What was it you saw? We should understand this was the last thing the victim saw. Yes, there can be no mistake. That was when what my father himself witnessed. How very strange. You don't suppose the Holy Mother possessed the accused and slew Minister Inga from planning a coup? The divine wrath of the Holy Mother? Oh, Holy Mother, we're grateful for your blessings. Talk about a sharp left turn into the Twilight Zone. You know, there's one thing in there that caught my attention. That laugh. Who does it belong to, and why are they laughing? Who knows? Though I suppose it could be Dhurke after he slew my husband. Uh-huh. The figure didn't even have a mouth. I think we're done here, lawyer. How so? You claimed that Minister Inga was stabbed in his private quarters, and, feeling no pain, went to the tomb where he eventually fell dead. But this seance vision proved he was stabbed in the tomb, and felt great pain, no less. Oh. Therefore, as I asserted all along, it was the accused who stabbed the minister in the tomb. Ah! Everything just backfired big time. Oh, Ron has the devil's luck, doesn't she? Now then, I shall give voice to the soul of the deceased. Listen well and heed these words. At around 3 p.m., my father was waiting in the tomb to make the hostage exchange. He was drinking grape juice while gazing up at the picture of the Holy Mother. He had been waiting vigilantly when suddenly he heard Dhurke's voice. The next moment, he was stabbed in the back and collapsed. My father tried to shoot his attacker, but he missed, and the attacker let out a laugh. So what now, Mr. Wright? It's up to us to knock holes in Rayfa's interpretations. In other words, we need to prove that her understanding of them could be mistaken. Okay, I'll give it a try. Okay, so it says select third statement. Sound of man's voice. Presents sound. Okay, third statement at third frame.
Objection!
God, what the fuck? Ah, damn it. Present But he'd been waiting vigilantly when he's heard Dhurke's voice at third. Present sound man's. I wish this guide would sometimes get these things right, because this is really annoying. I said man's voice. Oh. Oh, I see. He had been oh. It's because I didn't switch the frame, that's why. I didn't switch the statement. Duh. Okay. Well, there I explained it. Okay, now I got it. Okay. Okay, he had been vigilant. This is what I screwed up. Okay.
Objection!
Okay, there we go. Alright, that was my mistake this time. I can screw up every once in a while. Fine. Alright, so man's voice, present, right? An inconsistency where? Minister Inga was far too relaxed for what was supposedly about to take place. When he heard the voice you claimed to be Dhurke's, he didn't seem the least bit alarmed. Just kept looking at the picture. Huh? That's strange, right? He was waiting for Dhurke to arrive with the Founder's Orb. But when he heard that voice, he didn't even turn to look. Don't you think he would have been worried about being attacked from behind? Then whose voice was it? It was likely someone whose presence wouldn't have alarmed him. Someone like a friend.
Objection!
But there was no third party at the scene of the crime. Therefore, the voice could only have belonged to Dhurke. The voice of a third party who wasn't there in the tomb. Apollo, don't we have something that could reveal the owner of the mystery's voice? Of the mystery voice? I think we do! Something that Inga had while he was waiting for Dhurke. With it, we might just be able to figure out whose voice it was.
Take that!
That's my father's I know it must be hard for you, but could you please look at this photo? There's something here that could point us to the identity of that voice. This is the real source of that man's voice.
Take that!
A cell phone? Right. I believe that the voice the minister heard was on a call on his cell phone. I see. That certainly makes sense. What is your eminence's view on the matter? I can see the possibility. Then it seems I must refine my vision. Inside revised. It appears the voice belonged to one of my father's subordinates. Why do you suppose he was talking to one of them? My father had members of the secret police positioned throughout the palace. They were supposed to contact him as soon as they saw Dhurke and the rest of you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Your benevolence. I believe you have an insight to revise. I know, barbed head. Don't presume to tell me how to do my duty. So the voice was coming from the phone, that's good to know. But there might have been other sounds coming from the phone, sounds that could be clues. Let's take another look at Rayfa's insights and really focus in on the various sensations. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it now, says the guy who fucked up the first thing. My father took a call of a subordinate. Alright, third statement. Got that one. At third frame. Sound lion's roar. My father took a...
Objection!
I hate to break it to your benevolence, but you misinterpreted something again. What do you mean? Again? Smooth move. I think you just hurt her feelings. She may put on a brave face, but she feels more than she lets on. Let me rephrase that. Your interpretations of your father's phone call to a subordinate is inconsistent with his final memory. What do you mean by that? A lion's roar could be heard over the phone. Don't you find that strange? You claim the call was with someone at the palace. But let me ask you, do you keep lions there? No. The only animals at the palace are little birdies and my pet frog. Wait, a giant one in front of the minister's house is their pet? Besides, there aren't any lions in Korain. We don't even have any zoos. A rather sad state of affairs, I'm afraid. Well, I remember hearing the sound like that. Lion's roar coming from the phone could actually be someone hanging out in the bazaar. Isn't that the cry of the warbot over the bazaar? Oh. Your benevolence. Do you think you can clarify the voice for me? Very well. I will now attempt to further refine my vision. What's this? Just as I suspected. It was the call of the warbot. That means his subordinate was talking to was in the bazaar, not the palace. But why is that important? Where the call came from? What significance could it have? She's right. Is it important to know where the call came from? It's actually very important. Knowing that the person on the other end was at the bazaar means that the loud explosion must not have been the sound of a gunshot. But I can think of no other item that makes such a noise in the area. Go ahead, Apollo, tell her. Tell Rayfa the real source of that sound. Will do. Well, Hornhead, I'm waiting. What was the true source of that explosive?
Take that!
What is that? It's Albi Urgai's statement. In it, he claims that Dat's airball threw a firecracker at him when he was at the bazaar. Then... Yes, the sound heard over the phone was a firecracker exploding.
Objection!
And yet, a bullet was found at the scene of the crime. A bullet fired from Minister Inga's gut. How do you explain that? Well, we don't know whether it was fired during the course of the crime, right? Or do you have evidence that proves where the pistol was when the pistol was discharged? No, I have none. Wait a second. If that loud bang was a firecracker, then could that laugh at the end have been... It can't be. Oh, it can, and it is. The laugh came from none other than Dad's. And the Joker who got a kick out of starting it. The happy-go-lucky Dad's airball. What? Someone should really put a leash on that guy. He's the Larry Butts of this game. I shudder to think how one man could be the cause of so much trouble. Hey there, AJ! PW, I'll thank me later. No one asked for your commentary, Mr. Airball. Your benevolence, please revise your insight. It would appear I do need to. So dumb. Okay. Alright. 3P. Alright, first statement. At 5th frame, explosion after it goes blank. Okay. This changes everything. Let's go over the details of Rayfa's insight again. Okay. At least I think I've got this down now. Time to find another inconsistency. Alright, first statement. Waiting at the tomb for the hostage exchange. Presents sound at 5th frame. Alright, the sound explosion after it goes blank. Dog's bark. Okay.
Objection!
Benevolence. There's a glaring problem with the insight. There is? You stated that the murder happened at around 3, which is right around the time my client arrived at the scene. However, now that we know what the source of the loud bang was, your insight conflicts with a certain piece of evidence. I suppose I must ask the obvious here. What evidence conflicts with the claim that it happened at 3? Okay. Albi statement again.
Take that!
Albi Urgai's statement again. Yes, because to summarize what he said, at around 2 p.m. Shadow was surprised by a firecracker and ran around the palace courtyard. Around 2? That's right. 2 p.m. Not 3. You Suggesting. Oh, that's an evil face. I think you know where I'm going with this. That's his laugh, the cry of the warbot, and the bang of the firecracker were all heard right around Minister Inga's death. Thanks to Albie's statement, we could put a definitive timestamp on all of those sounds. Therefore, what the vision showed us is extremely likely the deceased's final moments were at 2 rather than 3 like we'd originally thought. Dare I ask? It means the murder took place a full hour before Dhurke entered the tomb! Kuka! How could this be? Are you saying that I, the very personification of the law, have been mistaken? Oh! Now you see why justice will always prevail. I don't watch Detective Conan for nothing! Peace! Peace, I say! No, then defense. I must remind you that the figure you accused was clearly shown in the victim, or shown in the vision. How do you explain that? I wouldn't say it was clearly shown. After all, the figure didn't actually have a face. You're absolutely right. Without a face, we can't be certain who it was. Furthermore, I need to remind you that at 2, the vision is at 2. Dhurke was still with me and Mr. Wright, which means the faceless figure couldn't possibly be him. So then, what are we to make of this 1 hour difference? Wait, 2 o'clock, that's when... My mother was performing the rite of channeling. The palace guards had all been reassigned to guard the channeling chamber for the rite. Don't tell me. The royal residence. It would have been virtually unguarded. Which means the real killer could have easily slipped unseen into Amara's tomb. Defense, are you suggesting that this someone is disguised as the accused? That's exactly what I believe, Your Majesty. Preposterous. Disguises cannot deceive the memories of the dead. That the face did not appear there is more happenstance. Is mere happenstance. Had it appeared, such subterfuge would have been as clear as day. He's got a point there. Anyone who knows about the Divination Seance would have tried to hide their face. Nevertheless, our killer openly appeared before Inga. The question is why? Apollo. Maybe the killer could afford to be so bold, because they knew their face wouldn't show up in the Seance vision. Huh? It's possible the killer dared to dress in Dhurke's clothes and stand square in front of Inga, precisely because they knew they could get away with it. But how could anyone be so sure of something like that? A long time ago, I heard of a cognitive disorder that impairs a person's ability to distinguish between different faces. What if Inga had it? Are you saying that that's literally how Inga saw the world? Yeah. We can't normally see through the faces of others, but in this case we can. And if he had that disorder, I imagine this is how faces appear to him in real life. Okay. Let's say that the killer knew that Inga had such a disorder. They could definitely use it to pin the crime on Dhurke. But if you're wondering how to prove that, you already have what you need. Really? Well, defense, do you have anything to show the court? I believe so. I have no idea what Mr. Wright means, but I'll look at the evidence once again. What explains why Minister Inga's killer the face is absent in the Seance vision? Inga's notepad.
Take that!
A notepad? Yes, it was found in Minister Inga's room, and it holds the answer we're looking for. As you can see, it's filled with detailed notes on various individuals. What kind of clothes they wear, hairstyles, and other discerning physical characteristics. And this is connected to the faceless nature of the killer. How? The vision we saw is exactly what Minister Inga saw in his very own eyes. Is he saw the killer as a person without a face. In fact, this is how he normally saw everyone around him. What's this? I believe Minister Inga had a disorder that would prevent him from recognizing faces. It would explain the faceless being. And why he needed a notepad full of people's physical characteristics. Now that I think about it, my father was always terrible at remembering people. By simply changing my hairstyle, he would fail to even recognize me. Your Eminence, you knew that your husband had such a disorder, didn't you? He never wished for it to become public knowledge. But I suppose there's no use in keeping quiet about it now. It is as you say. My late husband had a special disorder that hindered his ability to recognize faces. The medical term is oh man, I've seen this before. I've met people who've had this. Prosopagnosia. So Mr. Wright was right. The memories of those afflicted with such disorders in life do appear strange at times. There is precedent for this. So the killer likely knew that about the disorder and used it to the advantage. So there's someone who's both knowledgeable about the Divination Seance and aware of Inga's affliction. Your Eminence, who knew about your husband's condition? A small number of servants who tended to his needs. And me. Surely you're not about to insinuate I committed the crime? No! Still, could you have done it? Garon has an alibi, remember? Oh, right. She was conducting the rite of channeling. In that case... Your Eminence, does Nana know about Minister Inga's disorder? Of course she does. She is our head servant. So as head servant, she knew about Minister Inga's condition. And as the princess's personal attendant, she's familiar with the seance. If these two facts together make her a possible suspect, or if these facts together don't make her a possible suspect, I don't know what would.
Objection!
You witness lawyer. How quick you are to forget the facts. Like, when Inga was last seen alive, you claim he was slain at 2, yet that is impossible, for Rayfa saw him at 2:30. We did completely forget about that. No, there must be some kind of mistake. So you see, the murder could have only happened at 3. Our Dhurke into the 2. There's no other answer to this puzzle. Why don't we ever bring it to make up answers like Garon makes up laws? Guess it's back to square one. Where did we go wrong? I don't think we're the problem. We just seem to be short one piece of the puzzle. Our deductions so far explain everything to a T. Everything except Inga's sighting at 2:30. I see, and without that final puzzle piece, all our deductions fall apart. Apollo, if Inga's sighting is the only anomaly, we'll just have to find a way to make it fit into the bigger picture. Time to think outside the box, then? Well, let's see. It'd be impossible to see Inga walking around after he'd been killed. But what if there was a way to make people think he was alive even after he was dead? A way to make people witness the living dead? Sounds like some kind of TV show. Things like that don't happen in real life. Oh! Apollo! Did you just... I did! I figured it out. I know how to make people witness the living dead. Your Majesty, our deductions weren't wrong after all. Despite Minister Inga being murdered at 2, He was seen heading into the tomb at 2:30, and I'll tell you how. I certainly hope you will, because I have no idea what you're talking about. The Minister Inga, her benevolence, saw was someone channeling him. It was the deceased being channeled. It was the only way a man who was already dead could have been seen by her benevolence. Channeled? That's right. And there are only two people capable of spirit channeling here in Karai. Her Eminence Queen Garan and Maya Fey. It's possible that one of them was channeling the minister. It would seem that you were ever bent on making me the party to this crime. Prosecutor, what was I doing at 2:30, the time at which my husband was seen? Eminence. I believe you had completed the channeling rite, and you were having tea with the king of the neighboring realm. There were many attendants there, too. The Yuda has to keep up with her schedule, too. What doesn't she make him do? And that leaves only Maya. It does. Maybe someone was forcing her to use the power towards nefarious ends? The real killer could have been threatening her. That cannot be. So then Inga's scream. It was probably from when he woke up from being called back to this world. After all, that's when the flow of time would have been picked back up for him after he died. So Minister Inga probably leapt to his feet, thinking he had a nightmare. Then realizing it was almost time for the hostage exchange, he raced off to Omara's tomb, not even realizing he was already dead. Then, her benevolence really did see a dead man running? God, this is so weird. Using the sacred power of spirit channeling to commit a crime? How could this be? The defense calls Miss Maya Fey to the stand. Well, Your Eminence, will you allow a new witness? It matters not. Either way, this lawyer shall soon know the truth. He will know just how much of an imbecile he is in the face of my infallible arguments. Insult me all you want, witch, but you're going to be eating those words when I expose the truth. Very well. Let us adjourn until the next witness is ready. Whew. Oh boy. Yay, progress is being made. Ooh. So Maya Fey's turn to be a witness. Coming up next. Another seance too. Oh dear. Well, maybe. I'm sure there will be, but we'll see you next time.